That was an experience, right? Man, man, I don't know. Just really, really frustrated with the officiating. I can't stress it enough. I mean, time and time again, I'm not trying to be the guy that's always complaining about the officiating, but I hate to break it to you. It's getting worse. It's getting noticeably worse. I don't know if there's favoritism involved. I don't know. I mean, what I just saw, that last play of the game, clear 2 blocks in the back, very clear as the rule states. You cannot make contact in the back of a player on special teams. It's always called whenever they want to call it. And to not call it there in a crucial point in the game where it's basically the game, when he only scores because of the block in the back, he only scores because of the cheating. I can't. But that's not even really what upsets me the most. What upsets me the most is that the Rams, let's start with the positive here. The Rams played great. They really did. I mean, to go out on the road, cold, it's in December, it's raining. Last time you played up in Baltimore during the Super Bowl run, you were going up against Tyler Huntley. This time you go up against Lamar Jackson. You put up 31. For the most part, I thought the defense played as well as you could against a Lamar Jackson, and I mean, obviously there's some things they'd want back. I'm really, really, really impressed with the way the Rams are playing right now. They proved today. I don't have any worries about them moving forward. I think they will make the playoffs still. I've said that this game doesn't really impact that for me. I had them losing this game and going 10-7. So that's where I stand on that. But if they do get to the playoffs, they can do some serious damage. And I think today kind of showed that. To go on the road, anytime you're able to go cross country on the road, 1 o'clock, that's a 10 a.m. game their time. To go on the road, go up against Lamar Jackson, to go up against an elite defense, and to put up the numbers they did today, to put the points on the board that they did today, it says a lot. And it really goes to show you that this team is really kind of what, some of you guys believe, but definitely what I thought they were. I thought this was a team that would go 10-7. They would have their bumps and their bruises. Are they as good offensively as I expected, maybe earlier in the year? No. But, this is a team that has started to really hit their stride. And now there's 4 games left. They're 6-7. It's frustrating, and I get that. Trust me, it's very frustrating. They should have won this game, but I am not going to hold anything against the Rams. We could get into the nitty gritty, and we could say, oh, well, the defense can't do this, they can't do that, and they didn't execute. And I disagree. The late game, didn't execute in the late game portion. Absolutely disagree. What is that going down the field and, able to kick a field goal at the end of the game? What is that? That's executing. So I just disagree. I understand people are going to be upset. I understand the knee-jerk reaction, everything. I just can't stress enough how proud I am of this team, because it's not an easy game. This is probably the toughest game. I mean, this is one of the toughest matchups that you can get on any given Sunday. To play Baltimore in the cold, in the rain, in the wind, in December. This team is built to withstand that type of weather. This team is built to play that nitty-gritty, ugly football. You look at the Lions, they went to Baltimore and they got punched in the mouth profusely. You look at the Seahawks, they went to Baltimore and they got baptized. But the Rams, no, they went to Baltimore and they made them play their style of their style of offense, their style of defense. The Rams dictated this game. It's a shame that at the end they blew it, but I'm not even going to look at it as they blew it. They went up against a better team, a team that's, I believe, going into this game is going to win the Super Bowl. So, I mean, you can't take anything away from that. Now, let's pivot to the officiating, because holy shit. I mean, how many more times? I keep saying this. Again, I sound like a broken record, but, let's go through it. Shafted at the end of the half against the 49ers in week 2. Just gave Brock Purdy and the 49ers a free first down and a goal line play to end the half. So completely, screwed over there. All right. And then, I mean, you go to the Cincinnati game, taking away 2 touchdowns. The Eagles game, they let them hold all game. And there's some other stuff out there, but those are the ones that, I mean, they've been shafted at the end of games. This was brutal because the whole game, I cannot say this enough. You can say all you want. Oh, well, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Oh, well, the Rams just didn't score enough points. 31 is good enough to win most games. Oh, well, the defense was bad. Let me explain to you something. If you don't call an offensive line for holding when they're holding all game long against any quarterback in the NFL, you are setting up that defense for failure. But when you don't call that for Lamar Jackson, you are absolutely making it impossible to win the game. Lamar Jackson doesn't need your help. Lamar Jackson does not need your help. The Ravens' offensive line got away with quite literally holding on every play. It was like the Super Bowl when the Rams played the Patriots back in 2001. Okay, that's where we're at right now. That's how bad it was. It was awful. It was absolutely pathetic. To allow that, because guess what? You want to know why Lamar Jackson had so many yards rushing, so many more yards rushing than he normally has? Because he doesn't even run as much anymore if you haven't been watching Ravens football. That was absolutely pedestrian by that officiating crew. I'm not even talking about the block in the back that sealed the game. I'm talking about the fact that this game was kept close because while this secondary was kicking ass in the secondary, aside from a few, broken coverage plays, for the most part, consistently they were kicking ass. And that's why, Lamar Jackson was in the pocket all day. But why do you think he was in the pocket all day? Because they're holding the whole damn game. And if they're not going to call it, then they're not going to stop holding. See, that's the official's job, is to maintain the game, to be able to take control of the game, but not, literally control the game. Like, take control. Like, okay, I'm not going to let this fly. If things get chippy, I'm going to throw a flag. Why do I throw a flag? Because I don't want this to escalate. But the problem is that it's not the chippiness in this one. Although it did feel like every single time a Ram player caught the ball, there was a helmet-to-helmet hit that was not called. Anyway, we move on. My point is that if you're not going to call offensive holding, they are literally getting a free pass golden ticket to hold the entire game. And at that point, you could say, well, they didn't call it for the Rams either. Yes, but what holding means more? The idea that you're going to hold and you're not going to call it for Stafford or Lamar Jackson, who could take off and run for 60 yards at any given moment. The problem is a lot of the Rams, what their defense is doing, they're going to have guys in the second level or the third level deep in the secondary covering downfield. If Lamar Jackson is able to run, he's getting 30 yards in a blink of an eye. That's the problem with not calling these holding penalties. So I hope the NFL, for the love of God, actually reviews this and does something about it, because this is just not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It was a horrible game by the officiating crew. To allow them to hold the entire game is ridiculous. It's basically the same as allowing T. Higgins to rip Jalen Ramsey's face mask while he's on the play and score a 70-plus yard touchdown in the Super Bowl. You're not letting him play the game, okay? At that point, you're letting him cheat at the game. You're choosing to do nothing about the cheating in the game. That's not letting them play, okay? That's never been letting them play. Letting them play is when you have ticky-tack stuff, okay? That's letting them play. You're not going to throw it, hand fighting or whatever, the legs get crossed up, whatever, fine. But when guys are literally grabbing, it's not just Donald. We got to stop acting like it's just Donald, too. It's not just Donald. Bobby Brown shared it last week. They had him there's a picture where his collar's going like this. A picture. Someone caught that on camera, but an official who's looking right at it can't catch it. See, this is the problem. I don't want to make it all about the penalties, But that is absolutely insane to not call holding, because all you're doing is giving them a free pass to cheat. It's not letting them play the game. Yeah, you could call a hold on every play. That's fine. I'm not asking you to call a hold on every play. I'm asking you to call a hold maybe once every quarter to make sure that they stop doing it. Because the problem is, if you don't take action, they're not going to stop. They have no need to. There's no incentive. A holding call is 10 yards. It's a 10-yard penalty. Think about how brutal that is. That can kill drives. It has killed drives. But no, you don't call it, and now the Ravens are like, they're not calling it. I'm not going to let Lamar get killed. No, I'll hold all game. Doesn't matter if it's Kobe Turner. My favorite was Kobe Turner. Literally, I think the guy had both his hands down his. Did you guys see that? It was like he was trying to bear hug him, but he missed, and his hands went down his collar like this. I don't know how you miss those. And you could say, well, Jake, don't let it get to this point. No, miss me with that. Miss me with that. Don't let it get close. They're going up against one of the best teams in the league. You're not going to blow out the Ravens. It's going to be a close game by virtue. It's a cop-out to excuse bad officiating. Everyone else went out there and did their job. Why can't the officials, huh? Why can't the officials? And why do they not have to speak at the end of games? Why do they not have to answer for the fact of their sheer incompetence and their constant negligence about how they continue to affect games late in the game? Why? They don't have to answer to any of that. They don't get fined. They don't have to do anything. You know what they can do? They can control games. They can absolutely decide who wins and who loses, or at least give a chance. It's the same thing in most sports. The NHL, I've never seen more in my life. They're disavowing goals now. They're literally taking goals away. They're taking goals out of, it looks like it might have been interference, goal taken away. Baseball, do we have to get into the umpires? Really? Come on now. Come on. And then basketball, bro, you could call a foul on any play. If you call a foul on any play, you get them into the bonus. You could just make it a free throw game and just give it to the other team. The officiating controls too much. No one is going out there to see flags being thrown. No one is going out there to watch the officials. No one is going out there to hear the officials. They're going to those games in the freezing cold and the pouring rain to find out who is the best team on that day. Okay? Are the Ravens the better team? Yes. Were they the better team today? Absolutely not. I think the Rams outplayed them today. I think it really helped that the officials once again just did nothing. And it goes to show you they continue to do nothing. If Aaron Donald is on your defense, they look at you as already, you've cheated at the game. He's a cheat code. He's a GTA cheat code. We don't have to step in because they have Aaron Donald and other teams don't. So we're not going to call it. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it has to stop. It has to. This is absolutely insane. You can't let Lamar Jackson just go about the entire game without any sort of call. And it's on every play, guys. Lamar, all day to throw from the announcer. It's like, why do you think? This guy's getting tugged this guy's getting tugged this way? Are you kidding me? It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. I mean, anyway, I don't want to make it all about officiating, but I did want to make a pretty big point that how if you're not going to call a holding play, how that affects just any quarterback, but it really affects you if you have to go up against Lamar freaking Jackson, who's the most dangerous player with the ball in his hand. And anyone that disagrees doesn't know what they're talking about. It's really that simple. It is absolutely brutal to lose this game. But the thing that makes people upset, I mean, I'm talking about real fans that truly you guys watch this game, you know how football works. The thing that gets you upset the most is feeling like the game is taken away from you and not taken away fairly. Like the fact that the Rams fought through the fire and the flames of this horrible officiating crew, the fact that they did not once throw a flag and let them hold the whole damn game. Okay, the fact they didn't do that, they still had a shot. They still were winning, right? They still had a shot at the end of the game. And then on the freaking, the return for a touchdown, there's a block in the back that they just choose not to enforce because, I missed it too. I wasn't looking at the guy with the football or anything. I mean, wrong. Everyone saw it. The refs just chose not to. And that's the problem, is that you can say, and it's embedded now. This is just the way it is. This is how it is. This is how fans have been reprogrammed to think, is that it's okay, right, to excuse the officiating, to just say, you know what, the Rams, don't let it get that close. Nonsense. This was a 9-3 team coming in that has Super Bowl aspirations, and to act like the Rams deserve to lose because they made this game closer than it should have been is ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. I mean, I hear that all the time. That works if you lose a game to Washington next week. Okay, you kept them close. But if you keep it close on the road against a Ravens team or the Eagles or the 49ers, don't even give me that. The officials should know better, and they should be able to do a better job than what they did. Because to not call a holding penalty once, I still cannot believe it. But let's get to the stats. God, it's nauseating talking about these officials who just continue to be the absolute worst in pretty much all of sports. And I don't think it's going to get any better, folks, because sports betting is getting bigger. It's just, there's too much on the line. The officiating just has to have a true reality check. And I don't think it's going to happen. On that note, Matthew Stafford was really good today. Missed some throws, had an almost interception, had a scare, but I thought when he really needed to be his best, he was his best. I don't blame him on that final drive. First off, bad play calling. Second, you got to do a better job protecting your quarterback. And look, let's give the Rams a lot of credit again, how, they lose Rob Havenstein at the beginning of this game. You might not have even realized it immediately. They lost Rob Havenstein at the beginning of this game. You know how you could tell the difference between this team right now, the Rams right now, and how they were in week 2 is because when they lost Rob Havenstein, they lost a player. They lost Joseph Noteboom at right guard in week 2. That crippled them. They weren't the same team in the second half, right? Well, in this game, they lost Rob Havenstein, and it didn't cripple them. Now, they probably win with Havenstein because there were a few blocks, especially when the Rams had to punt instead of kicking the field goal because they were out of field goal range. There are a few blocks that Noteboom absolutely whiffed on. But the point is, no Lake, no Higbee, Havenstein leaves the game, and it's like, and Tutu Atwell, you lose at the beginning of the game. And it's like this team just continued to rally, and they continued to fight, and they just show so much fight at this point in time. And I think Stafford, who is just red hot right now, you could talk about his completion percentage being 56.1. I don't give a rip. The guy has 3 touchdowns in this game, no interceptions. 3 touchdowns in the Cleveland game, no interceptions. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception in the Arizona game. If you aren't keeping track, Matthew Stafford has 10 touchdowns and 1 pick in 3 games. So the last 3 games, he's starting to come on strong, okay? But now, I'll say, you're going to say, look, Kyren Williams, I don't want to hear another mofo tell me ever again that Kyren Williams only got yards because he played the Cardinals twice. Kyren Williams only does well against bad defenses. That is an absolute load of shit. That is not true at all, and he proved it today. He proved it last week, but he really proved it today, going for 114 yards on 25 carries against this stout defense in the cold, in the rain, with the idea that everyone and their mother knew that the Rams were going to give him at least 20 carries in this game, and he's still able to get to 114 on the day. He had a day. In the receiving game, not so much. I think a lot of that was on Stafford. That was just kind of out there. It just really wasn't working today in the receiving game. How about Cooper Kupp? Okay, this guy had 10 targets and came down with 8 of them, including one where he had to climb a ladder and he had to go up and high point the football and then come down, and it was just not an easy catch to make. Huge jump ball catch that gave them the shot to tie the game up right before going into overtime. Hell of a game for Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua had a really crucial drop, but then he had an incredible catch where he hauled in. He was completely laid out. Just incredible stuff from Puka Nacua. Obviously, you want to see him make those catches that are just surefire, right in your hands, no one's around. But, you know, he had some huge ones. Davis Allen is growing up right before our eyes. Had a touchdown today, 4 catches, 50 yards. His drop, I am not going to put too much on Davis Allen for dropping that. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to do that. I know a lot of people are. I know people are saying, well, if Davis Allen doesn't just drop it, all right, well, what about the other catches that he made that we've seen Tyler Higbee drop this year? You know, you can't have it both ways. Davis Allen was huge in this game. He came up in a big way, was huge over the middle. Don't give me he dropped 1 pass on 5 targets, and now we're going to, you know, pin the loss on him. That's absolutely ridiculous. Demarcus Robinson caught a touchdown pass as well as Cooper Kupp. How about Demarcus Robinson? His biggest play of the game was probably the one where it was an incomplete pass because Stafford threw it up there kind of carelessly. Love the guy, but let's just call it like it is. Could have been an interception. And Marlon Humphrey looks like he's going to get it. Demarcus Robinson knocks it out, stays with the ball. Beautiful stuff there. Keeps the game alive. Robinson deserves a lot of credit for that. He had 10 targets today. Only caught 3 of them for 46 and a touchdown, but he did have 10 targets. Pretty crazy when you think about it. Demarcus Robinson was tied for the most targets in the game. Puka had 8. Davis Allen had 5. Kyron Williams had 4, and Tutu had that 1 target where he was concussed, it looked like, on the play. Austin Trammell's got to hold on to the football. He had 2 muffs today. I'm not in the business of saying he needs to be cut, but that could have been really, really bad when you think about it. Ernest Jones was huge, got the sack on that blitz. I thought you saw a lot of good things, obviously using him as a blitzing linebacker, got a lot of pressure there. I thought the Rams generated a lot of pressure considering the fact that they were held the entire game. You got to give them a lot of credit. I really will. Byron Young had a sack. I thought Akello Witherspoon's interception was absolutely huge, even though, the Rams only came away with 3 in that. But he played really well, I thought. And, it's a tough one today, man. It's really tough to lose a game like this. How about Lucas Haversick, by the way? Not an easy day. To hit that 51-yarder right away was huge in the cold, in the wind. He did a nice job. Ethan Evans did a nice job. It's just one of those frustrating things where I think it was an all 3 phases win. And unfortunately, it was taken away from them late in the game. You could say the officials had a lot to do with it, but at the end of the day, the Ravens did make 1 more play than the Rams, and that's just what it comes down to. So, look, officiating was absolutely terrible, but I'm not trying to take away from the Ravens. They scored 37 points. We're not going to sit here and act like they didn't score 37 points to win the game. But I will say that the Rams absolutely were hosed on that last block in the back that they didn't call, which they seem to always call when it's against the Rams. And they were absolutely hosed when you think about just, I don't know, man, just that last, those holding calls, man, it's just brutal, just absolutely brutal, really frustrating. So, we'll see what ends up happening. Obviously, the Rams really need a Vegas Raiders win against Minnesota today. They need the 49ers to beat Seattle. Seattle looks like they're giving them one last hurrah again. Seattle's still trying to, be competitive. Drew Lock has looked good today, has a touchdown. So we'll see there. And I'll be bringing people on to talk. The Giants-Packers game could be interesting as well, but, the Rams really, and I can't stress this enough, they really look like one of the best teams in the NFC following this loss. I know that sounds hard to believe, but the big thing about them the whole time, it was all about, they only beat the Cardinals twice and the Seahawks twice, and then they beat the Browns, who aren't very good. And my thing here is that the Browns are good, okay? And I just think people didn't want to give the Rams their respect. I think a lot of it comes down to off-season takes that look kind of stale now if it goes south. But yeah, I think that's how I look at it. Browns won, by the way. Joe Flacco once again was great. But of course, only the Rams are going to get crap for that. Oh, you let Joe Flacco throw all over the yard. Yeah, well, he did it again against the Jaguars. So there's that. Yeah. So Browns won, and they won a close, good game. That's a team that the Rams blew out last week. Rams almost beat the Ravens. It's okay to admit this team is good. Now, what's a bummer is that they're going to fall down to 31% chance of making the playoffs because of this loss. But this is always how I envisioned it. I always had them losing this game. I cannot stress that enough. I always had them losing this game. This was the tough one, and it's unfortunate because they had a 3-game, winning streak. But man, if they're able, they now have the Commanders, Saints, Giants. If they win those 3 going into the 49er game, who knows how that's going to work out? They have a 70% chance of making the playoffs without even touching any of the other scenarios. You know what would help today, though? Would help if the Raiders beat the Vikings. That would give them about an 85% chance of making the playoffs. Then if the 49ers beat Seattle, that obviously helps them. And then, of course, if the Giants beat the Packers, that game would now be around 92%. So, yeah, it's not going to be easy. I never said it was going to be easy, but this was also the game that I had them losing. Like, I didn't think the Rams were going to win this game. I thought they had a shot, but I didn't think they were going to win it, and they played better than I thought. And the margin was further than I thought. I had them losing by 4. They lost by 6, but I mean, you'll take it. You'll take. If they're going to lose a game, you want them to play that hard. You don't want them to get blown out. That's really what it came down to. And we've seen teams go into Baltimore, like the Lions, and lose 38-6. We've seen Seattle go into Baltimore and lose 37-3. Okay. Credit to the Rams for hanging in there. They outplayed them. They should have won, and they didn't. And, that's really what it comes down to. So yeah, let's go through now. Cause I know there've been some super chats. I had my spiel. We'll bring on people. Matthew, thank you so much for the 20. First of all, we played really good. I don't think people realize just how dangerous Lamar Jackson is. If we make the playoffs, I don't think there is a top seed team that is going to want to see this team. No, I think that pretty much, again, thank you for the 20, Matthew. I think that's very well said. There's not a team. I don't think there's a team in the league that wants to play the Rams right now. I think the Ravens are realizing, like, okay, I don't think they overlooked them either. Like, I think they kind of had an idea, because they know the Browns pretty well. And the way they played the Browns last week, I understand they were at home, but this team's almost better on the road at this point. So I don't know, man. What would be a shame is if the Rams were the Lions this year, right? They were the Lions of last year this year, where the Rams are clearly one of the best NFC teams, should be in the playoffs, but we get like lesser talent in the playoffs because how they do it. That would be a shame. And again, those losses to the Bengals and the Steelers, I mean, they could still come back to haunt the Rams. And this is a loss that, they should have won this game, but anyway, I'm still proud of them, of course. How about the Clemson guy, Davis Allen? Thank you for the 2, Matthew. Yeah, no, Davis Allen, big fan here. If you guys know, you guys watched the DTR live stream during the draft. Davis Allen was my guy. That was my guy. I wanted him. I'm glad they secured him. I'm losing my voice if you can't tell, but yeah, big fan of Davis Allen. That was huge, and I hope that continues because he looked great today. That first drive really pisses me off. Why did we stop running? We got to sure up on how long it takes to get play calls in. So, Craig, thank you so much for the 5. I did see AZZA. McVay said trouble with headsets all game. AZZA, thank you for the donation there. So, trouble with the headsets all game probably led to that. That's really frustrating, man. So, going up against no holding, headset trouble, Lamar Jackson, I mean, I give him a lot of credit for just even, having a chance to win that game. Monty Brown, how we doing? Thank you so much for the 5. I'm heartbroken, Jake. That was our game. I know. It's really upsetting. But again, I did expect them to lose this game. It's just when you see it happen, that's when it gets a little frustrating. Quintana, thank you so much for the 2. Appreciate you. Taco Bandit, thank you so much for the 2. Appreciate you. Street Shadow, thank you for the 5. Tough one, but expected. Thinking about the future. What players are def keepers? Mine, Witherspoon, Dotson, or Locks. Another running back to spell Kyron. Yeah, I definitely could, if they're going to be that limited on how they use Kyron, because, I mean, they could have kept using him, but if they really want to limit those carries, it might make sense to go out and get a running back in the draft, because I don't think they trust Freeman. What I saw today, they don't. I mean, they don't. So that's where we're at on that. But, man, that was a lot. That was a lot. A lot to talk about. All right, so I'm gonna bring guests on here in a sec. Let's see. Okay, let's we had the game if we didn't go for 2 instead. Yeah, I mean, we could do the what if all day. I mean, end of the day, that's the right call. It can't hurt you at that moment in time. I get the notion though. I do. Appreciate you guys on Kick. Appreciate you guys on YouTube. That it's really means a lot that you guys show up after a loss like that. It's not the easiest to go live after. I'll be the first one to say that. But it's like working a 9 to 5. I mean, even when there are times where it's like you don't want to do something, you kind of have to, right? Was the first thing I want to do is go live? No, it's a lot more fun. Full disclosure, a lot more fun to go live after a win. But, bro, you're not going to have any audience if you only make content when things are good. That's the thing. And obviously you'll never get that from me. I keep it real. So, let's see. Well, there goes our playoff hopes. I disagree. Welcome to the jungle. Thank you so much for the 2. Appreciate that. I disagree. I don't think the playoff hopes are gone. I don't. I had them losing this game and still making the playoffs at 10-7. I've said this for a while now. So, this isn't a game that I feel like really hurts them. It's a game they lost on the road against an AFC team. This is probably the least painful game the rest of the way because all 4 teams they play the rest of the way are NFC teams. So you would rather lose this game or the Cleveland game which you won rather than dropping one of these NFC games because that hurts tiebreakers and such. So, this is gonna sting in the short term. It's not as bad as it looks. Because again, if you're playing by the numbers right now, 31% chance of making the playoffs going down from almost a 50, that stings. But, a lot of it's based on how these games go too. So, Vikings Raiders are at the half at 0-0. That's an interesting one. And, Seattle, I mean, if Seattle wins, the Rams' chances could go down to as low as 23%. If the 49ers win, their chances can go up to 34%. And then you have the Vikings and Raiders. I mean, this can go right back to 40% if the Raiders beat the Vikings and Seattle loses to the Niners. So that's something to keep in mind. And of course, the Giants and Packers is a huge game as well. I think everyone's expecting the Packers to blow out the Giants, but who knows? It's kind of a weird game. Monday Night Football at MetLife. I wouldn't say that it's a guarantee. I'll just say that. Would not say it's a guarantee. By the way, it looks like the Chiefs are absolutely imploding right now. Down 14-0 against the Bills in the second quarter, 2 minutes ago. I haven't been watching, but I kind of felt like this fall off was coming. I just haven't been really overly impressed with the Chiefs this year. I've never once felt like they were a Super Bowl team, and I'm sure they'll probably do their thing, but I never once felt that way. Anyway, let's get some people on, right? Let's get some people on. Let's see. Oh, actually, we still have some people. Thank you for the 5, MC Beauty and the Beast. A lot of people are talking bad about the Rams, but it's funny how they would be admiring the Rams had they won the game, but instead focus on the negatives. Yeah, it's why. See, when you come into my channel, a live stream, I want to give you everything. I don't want to just give you a hot pocket and send you on your merry way. I want to give you a 5-course meal. I'm trying to give you the full the meat and potatoes of the whole game. I'm not trying to sit here and just talk entirely about the negatives. I want to talk about the positives. I want to talk about player development. I want to talk about the coaching. I want to talk about different things that I noticed. I want to talk about the officiating. I don't want to talk about the officiating, but you know how it works. So that's the big thing here, is that I've never been a fan of just let's focus on one thing and ignore everything else because I'm that passionate about it. I want to talk about everything, and I think there's going to be things that I miss on. There are going to be things that I forgot to talk about. And sure enough, if anyone who knows me in person, I'll still be complaining about something I didn't say on the live stream and then think about it afterwards, but it is what it is. James, thank you for the 10. Appreciate you. If the Rams were to face the Ravens in the Super Bowl this season, who wins? That is a very good question. Do they call holding? I kind of feel like, man, if they played in the Super Bowl, I might take the Rams. That's crazy. That's a interesting question. I mean, I don't know. Very interesting. The Rams played a solid game. Harry, thank you so much for the 2. I agree. Again, a lot of what people don't understand, you're always going to have your things that you need to clean up. No one has ever played a perfect game. There's no such thing. There's always going to be a missed opportunity to misplay. That is football. Okay. So, going into it and just being all negative and everything, it just doesn't do anyone any favors. Doesn't do you favors. Doesn't help anybody else. That's the way that works. So that's why, I choose not to be negative. That's why I laugh. Like if someone comes at me on Twitter and says I'm being negative, I feel like I'm one of the more positive guys that cover the Rams. And the fact is, there's not really a lot to be negative about. What's to be negative about? They have a franchise quarterback in Matthew Stafford, who's still top 10 in the league. They still have Cooper Kupp, who's one of the best wide receivers in football. Kyron Williams, he's the top 10 running back in football. They found him in the 5th round. Puka Nacua looks like an absolute star. Okay. You look at the offensive line, they got 3 pieces that they bring back Dotson out of those 5 that I think are surefire locked in. And then they really just have to look at left tackle and center. Then you look at the defense, they got all these, island of misfit toys, these outcasts, and a lot of these guys can play, believe it or not. So, I don't know, guys. I look at this team and I'm like, there's a lot to take away. Plus, Sean McVay is the head coach. And if you haven't paid attention, Sean McVay is one of the best in the game at being a head coach, and it's why the Rams are should be 7-6. It's why they won 3 straight. It's why they didn't falter coming out of the bye. It took everyone to get hurt last year for the Rams to really fall out of it. That's the thing. Sean McVay's first season below 500 was everything went wrong. And this season, some things went wrong, but you can see the difference. Sean McVay has coached this team up to be able to be in games against NFL Super Bowl contenders. The Ravens are a legitimate Super Bowl threat. And the Rams, we're coming away from this game not like, wow, I wish they won that game, but, it just wasn't in the cards. We're coming away from it like, wow, I can't believe they should have won that game. I can't believe I'm sitting here. It's not that I can't believe it, because I said I wouldn't be surprised if they won. I think it's more so I can't believe the performance, how they had to dig deep, and how every single time they needed a response, except for the overtime, they got the response. It might not have happened immediately, but it happened. And you look at, the play-by-play and you're like, damn, like that end of the game field goal, right before half expired and everything. I mean, that's a 57-yard drive in a minute? They went 57 yards in a minute. And think about it. The defense just gave up a 13-play, 75-yard drive and gave up a touchdown. Game's over for most fans. They're like, this team's done. And then they're able to come out and tie it and send it to overtime on the road. The momentum swing is real, and the Rams continued to fight back against it, and they should have won the game. That's impressive. There's too many good things to take away. It's not that I'm being overly positive. It's that this team, simply put, was always better than the consensus gave them credit for. And I said that. I was just speaking what I saw. It wasn't just positivity. It's that there's not really much to be negative about. The Rams have themselves set up to be a problem the rest of the year and into next year and so forth. So, all right, man, before I completely run out of fuel in my my voice. Oh, I just realized I had nothing up there. Before I run out of fuel in my voice, let's bring on some people to help me get through this. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Monty, talk to me. How you doing? All right. Yes. How's it going, man? Oh, yeah.
Which I really don't give a fuck about right now. I wanted that win so badly, Jake. I wanted that win because I knew we had it, bro. Like we played our ass off. We really played our ass off. And McVay did a good. They did good coaching, but something like you say we can call back. But if the referees want to just and then the block in the back, like come on now. Come on now, that bagged their ass up, and we still on the field, or we hold them, and we come down, kick a field goal to win the game. Who knows what happened, bro? But it's just like to get ripped off like that. No, like yes, people gonna say the officiating job is hard. Just that some things they see that they got to call, bro. And Sean McVay, I love you to death. I know you got the most integrity for the game. You respect that from the top office all the way down to the janitor, right? But you got to start calling these refs out, bro. And they bull crap. You got to, man, because it just don't make no sense today, bro. That was our game against, arguably, like you say, Jake, the Super Bowl champions. You know what I mean? Baltimore got it all to go, and I'm sure that they had us losing this game, right? We was a fucking 7.5 point underdog, 7.5 point underdog, and man, it just hurt, bro. This one really do hurt, bro. This one go Like I ain't gonna be able to watch the fucking um the top plays or look at the app for probably like 3 days just to let this shit get out of my system, bro. Because this is one that I really wanted, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, bro. Like I start to cut the TV off and just wait for Jake to see if you say we won it or if we lost it. But I went on ahead and rolled it out. And I just had a feeling that some bull crap was gonna happen, bro. I swear I had a feeling and the bull crap happened. But I'm still so proud of this team, bro, the way they fought, especially when Baltimore went out there and scored what looked like the game winning touchdown. And we rallied right back, kicked the field goal to go to overtime because I knew right there, like, bro, this is our game. This is our game. But that 3rd and 17, where we let them score that touchdown, 21 yards to get to that kind of hurt it. But the rally back and the never quit mentality with the players that we got, and every week is somebody different that's showing up, that's doing something that
Yeah.
stands out, that shows us that man, we are deep with names. Like people keep saying, oh well, we don't. They're unknown names. They're unknown names, but we steady coming and we showing y'all that this team is resilient with the personalities, man, and the makeup that we have, Jake, the makeup and the build that we have in that locker room camaraderie, the never say quit mentality or never say that mentality. If we could just get into that playoff, now hook or back crook, if we can just get into that playoff, we're going to do some damage. We really want to do some damage because in the playoffs, every little, and we all know this because we football fans, everything counts. And by us having the poise that we got, the hungriness that we got, the youth with the, you really don't know who's going to be today or tomorrow, so you can't really pick somebody that you got a game plan for. Man, I can see us winning it all. I can really see us winning it all, but we just got to find a way to get these next 3 wins and then see where we end up with the Niners at the end. But this was a big one, Jake. That 7-6 was very, very big with the Packers screwing us last week. Well, Kansas City screwing us not winning. It's just like, man, we needed this one. We really, really needed this one, bro. But I still got faith. You know what I'm saying? We not go quit just like the team don't quit. We're not rolling over. We go suck this in. I know this hurt the players and everything, but it's the next week mentality. A little time to grieve, but then get ready for the next team, man, because this one was it. And then we coming back home as well. So, let's get back in the win column and then let's control our own destiny.
Yeah, no, it's man, it's just it sucks because like I said, I didn't have them winning this game, but
Hmm.
when you see the outcome, you see how it happened, everything, it always
It
uh
hurt.
it
Yeah, it hurt.
always hurts. Yeah, it
But
really
you did
does.
say it though, Frank. You said this last week. You said if we can beat the Baltimore, the team that you got winning it all, right? We
Yeah.
can win it all.
Yeah.
And to go out there and to play them neck to neck like that, punching their ass right back in the mouth when they punch us, right? And man, I know they were like they solidified in the playoffs, but I know they were like, wow. You know what I mean? We gave up a couple big plays that, man, it's just we had this one. This one was ours, man. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. But just to see us on that 3 game winning streak to come to this 4th game, like you said, Jay. Matthew Stafford was it 10-1 interception ratio in the last 3 games or 4? So it's like he on fire. If we can just hold up with the line, Stafford's making the right plays. He's staying the field perfectly now. Cooper Cup, he's look like his health is getting there. Puka is still Puka. Kyron is still Kyron. We ain't got hit big like like I said, we missed a few pieces that could have been deciding factors, but the boys stepped up and man, this was a big one. This really was a big one, but we just gotta put our heads down and keep grinding, and see where we end up at the end of the year. And people, could y'all please stop talking about who to keep and who to give away? And listen, this thing is not over yet. It's not over. Keep having the faith. We need positive energy in the universe, y'all. The law of attraction is real. Put the positive energy in the universe. Keep saying we're gonna make the playoffs, like Jake saying. He never once deterred away from what he said. We're going to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like it's a 30% chance now. That's still a hell of a chance. 30% is big. If you give me 30% of 100, I will take it any day of the week. Any day of the week. So could y'all please just keep the positive energy in the air? Don't give up right now. We're not talking about who to keep and who to give away. We're not in our off season, baby. The season is still going. So please, everybody, positive energy, positive energy. It goes a long way. It really does.
Hey, I'm with you, man. I appreciate you as always for coming on. I think, I mean, they're either running the table or they're losing to the Niners week 18. But either
Mhm.
way, I think they get into the playoffs, and I do think that they're going to run the table. I do think they beat the Niners. Um, that's how I feel. I have a feeling that they're going to beat the Niners, and we are looking at what the Niners did the year the Rams went to the Super Bowl. And we have to be ready for, if we're doing the reverse 49ers, we have to be ready for the Niners to beat the Rams in the NFC title game, I guess. So you gotta be
Yep.
you gotta be open to the idea that you get into the playoffs, you might unwrap a present that you don't want. So
Yep.
I'll take that any day. I'll take losing in the playoffs any day over not making it at all. But no, I agree with you, man. I appreciate you calling in as always, my guy.
Man, I'm always gonna be here to support you, Jake. You are face of the Rams. I don't know about nobody else, but we here for Jake. So you are face of the Rams, and we'll pit you up against Lock. And I like Locked On. Is it Locked On Rams? I like those guys. I like, what I'm saying, everybody else. But Jake is our face of the Rams, and we putting Jake up against anybody out there. Anybody that cover the Rams. We respect y'all to the fullest because we all Rams. But we'll put Jake up against any of y'all, and he go smoke you. You feel me? But Jake, continue to grind, my brother. Man, appreciate everything you do for us. I appreciate the chat. You know what I'm saying? We love you. Keep the positive energy, man. We will make the playoffs. Once we get there, like you say, Jake, I will take a loss in the playoffs than sitting my ass at home watching other teams any day, especially if it's in the NFC Championship, which I still think we go kick their ass. But even if it's in the NFC Championship, it's gonna hurt like hell, and we go cry, and we might, what I'm saying, act like we're not gonna watch the Super Bowl, and we all gonna watch it. But just keep the positive energy, man. And Jay, keep doing your thing. I'm gonna always support you, champ.
Hey, no, I appreciate that, my friend. As always,
Okay.
the support means a lot, and I'm gonna keep doing my thing. That's why
Yes, sir.
the YouTube channel has shifted to really just Rams centric. So but appreciate you again, man. We'll talk next week after what should be a Rams win over the Commanders.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, Jake.
Hi, you too. Take care. Okay, let's go. P Train, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's funny how quickly you're able to get over a tough loss when you're going up against a team as good as the Ravens. I mean,
Yeah.
if you switch the opponent and this is let's say next week, and this it was the Commanders, I would be really upset right now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm emotionally drained though. I am so exhausted. That game it was frustrating. It's like another one of those games when like when we were facing San Francisco at the beginning of the season. I mean, we were there, we had our chances, and things just didn't go our way. Someone missed a play here, someone did something, the ref did this, whatever. And it just slipped right through your fingers, and that's so frustrating when you got it, and it just goes away.
Yeah, yeah,
I
no,
guess
it's
for me, I'm upset. I guess with I mean, there's so many things. Like you were talking about earlier, the what if. You know, if Fuller doesn't get 2 touchdowns on him, we got this game big time. I mean, we don't know if the Ravens would have still went down and drove down and scored some points, but it surely wouldn't have got those 2 touchdowns off of Fuller like that. I mean, that's so frustrating. Last week he was doing great, and this week, nope. It just the inconsistency. So, but what are you going to do? I mean, Haversack hit some stuff today. I thought he was going to miss that last field goal to tie the game because he started pushing it right again. And then all of a sudden it hooks just a little bit to the left. And I'm like, oh my God, you're killing me.
Yeah.
So,
The cardiac Rams, right?
Yeah.
Can never be easy.
Yeah. I mean, I've like I said,
I've been a fan since I was in the 3rd grade, and I'm 52 years old now. I've seen so much of this stuff. I was just screaming and yelling at the doggone ceiling. My God.
Yeah. I mean, the ending was so
When-
brutal,
And
It's
yeah, to lose
like that.
everyone the whole game to lose.
Did I lose you, P-Train?
No, I'm here. I thought I lost. You there?
You're cutting in and out.
Oh, I can hear you fine.
That's weird.
Are we good?
Yeah, so
I can still hear you.
okay, cool. So do you think they make the playoffs still?
Yes. I mean, we might have to get a little bit of help.
Yep.
But I mean, the way we're playing, we put the league on notice. I mean, I guarantee you, the Ravens don't want to see us again.
No, because they see the
don't-
Rams
I mean,
in the
of
Super
course, the
Bowl.
only way they can
That's,
see us. Yeah, that's. I know it's the only way they can see us, but they know they were in a dogfight today.
yeah, they are very, very fortunate to get out of that one. Again, you don't want to take anything away from a team scoring 37 in an NFL game, but it just, and I didn't really get your thoughts on this. So I'm going to ask you, I mean, the officiating, what'd you think? Because like for me, it just kind of goes back to what I was saying. I understand the first thought is, hey, don't let the game get close enough where the officials beat you. But when you're going up against a team as good as the Ravens, you don't have a choice. You're just trying to stay in it. It's not like you're letting them in the game. The Ravens are the favorite. They were 7.5-point favorites,
Yeah. The margin of victory, or the margin for error, I guess, is like Sean always says, McVay, it's so much smaller when you're facing these good teams like this. I mean, you cannot afford to screw up, and then to have the refs do what they do, blowing calls, not making calls on certain things. And, I was like, come on, that's ridiculous.
It
The
really
pass
is.
interference plays. Yeah.
It's just,
I don't
it just
know.
gets to be ridiculous, though. But
Yeah, it's just frustrating. It's just a frustrating loss. It'll take a few days to get over it, and we'll be back onto the Commanders, and we'll keep watching the other games to see where we're at. If we get some help from other teams, or not.
yeah, I mean, hopefully, some of these teams can help. Yeah. No, that's true.
Shame we gotta wait for tomorrow night just to see if the Giants can pull a rabbit out of the hat and beat the Packers. Like, come on, I hate waiting.
Oh yeah, I won't be watching that. I'll if it happens, great, but I'm not watching another game where I have to root against the Packers and have Jordan Love sit there and on 4th and 1 off his back foot just heave it up, and then there's nobody in the secondary and you're like, what play did the defense even run? I'm not watching that again. No chance. I watched too much of the Chiefs just completely forgetting how to play defense. I'm not doing that again. That would be painful because I mean, the Giants will probably come out strong. They're at home. It's Monday night. It's weird. Feels like a weird game. I feel like the Packers are going to win that game like close, so they're going to blow them out. But I don't see the Giants winning. And if they do, like, awesome. But I don't see it. And furthermore, I mean, the Vegas Minnesota game and the Seattle San Francisco game are way more important. The Packers have the tiebreaker.
Oh, yeah.
So you need them now because you lost. You need them to lose, but then they still have the tiebreaker. So theoretically, you need 2 more losses on the Packers schedule. With the Vikings, if they lose, they have the tiebreaker, but it's not head-to-head, first off. And second, they have to play the Packers again. They have to play the Lions. They have to play, I think, the Lions twice. So it's not like a guarantee. So I don't see... I just don't feel like if I'm looking at like the Packers, I don't even think like them. They're not even a team to really worry about right now. I think all my attention shifted to Minnesota and Seattle. If those teams start losing, then the Rams are going to make it easily, as long as the Rams take care of business the rest of the way. But the Rams losing today, and I did have them losing today, they did relinquish their, I guess, controlling their own destiny. That's how I would put it.
Yeah.
So they do get that back if Seattle loses and the Vikings lose. The Rams, if the Rams won out, they would make the playoffs. Because the Vikings, they'd be 6-7. They have to play the Packers again. So really, I mean, it would just be like the Rams would need the Packers to win at that point. And then Seattle, if they win out after losing this game, it wouldn't matter. The Rams would have the tiebreaker. So So yeah, I mean it's somewhat simple, but obviously other things can make it a little bit easier on the Rams. But their playoff percentage did go down today. I'm not gonna act like it didn't.
Yeah,
but
we kind of expected it. But
yeah,
like I said, it's just a tough game to lose when you were there, and it was right in your grasp, and it slips through your fingers. It slipped through on San Francisco. It slipped through on the Eagles, and at least in the first half, we had them right there, and then come out and we just laid an egg in the second half, and so we just gotta we'll bounce back. I feel confident. We got a lot of great pieces on this team, and we're gonna get to that playoffs. I think we might have to have a little bit of help, but I think we'll get there.
Yeah, I agree. But Peach, I appreciate you as always, and I'll talk to you next week. Hopefully after a Rams win over the Commanders.
Yeah, my house is going to be interesting. I got to deal with my wife, who's a Commanders fan.
Well,
it's going to be hell next Sunday.
Good luck with that.
Yep. All right, take it easy now.
All right, you too. Later.
Yes, sir. Bye.
Falco, what's up?
Hey, Jake, what's up?
Hey, man,
that was
tough
such
one.
a brutal loss. Yeah.
Yeah.
First off, about anyone saying is that it wasn't the officiating's fault we lost that game. Complete BS. Like, you cannot tell me is that missing 13 holding calls, and on top of that, the obvious two block in the backs did not affect the game. It 100% did. Like, you cannot tell me is that a close game like that, you miss 13 holding calls? That is egregiously awful officiating. No matter where you look at it, that's awful.
Yeah, it's just, good Lord. And like
I swear, every game has to come down to officiating this year, hasn't it?
Feels like it always kind of does. It's frustrating.
Very frustrating. But outside of that, I thought we played very well, despite like a couple blown coverages on defense towards the beginning of the game. I thought the defense played well after they rebounded after the first half, except for the last minute where we let up a 3rd and 17. But hey, we can't do much if they constantly hold.
Yeah.
And constantly keep Lamar in a clean pocket. And meanwhile, offensively, like, what more could we have done? We've scored 31 points on a very good Ravens defense. Like a top-tier Ravens defense. Inside the rain. And shout out to Haversick, by the way. I thought Haversick had a really good day.
I thought
3 for 3 with long at 51.
Yeah, I thought he played really well. I was surprised. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, me too. Dude, man, like that kick from 51 was really weird because like he clearly angled it to the left, but then like the curve went heavily right and it went down the middle.
Yeah, that
was such a weird kick.
It was bizarre. It really was. Like it hit the wind and then it made like a curveball like motion and you're like, oh boy. And you're like, okay. All right,
Okay.
that's
Nope.
good.
It went down the middle.
Yeah. I mean, I did not have on my bingo card him making a 51-yarder in this game. Not after
know,
everything
right?
happened. I was like, wow. But I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to punt when you have a 51-yarder available to you? Or are you just like, so I think they made the right call
You
there.
have to take the points available to you. You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, I think
Like-
the Ravens, and think about this, the Ravens left, like they could have gone
Points
for it
on the
multiple time on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, but the
they
Ravens
didn't.
have Justin Tucker, so they're like, well, we have an automatic 3. Like, not
Yeah.
many teams in the league get a chance to make that decision. They don't get a chance to look there and be like, wow, we have an automatic 3 points on the board. No, they don't. And that's the
Right.
beauty, I think, of having a kicker like Justin Tucker, because at that point, you are quite literally having 3 points on the board, and you know he's not going to miss. But, you know, to have 3 points, it makes it a harder decision. Like 4th and 1, do I want to get rid of 3 points off the board? Do I really want to send my offense out there? If they get stuffed, I get 0. I have 3 right now.
Not really.
You know?
Right.
So it's fascinating how having such a great kicker made it so it's like, I don't know, like I just felt like they just, you know, they took a lot of those 4th and 1, 4th and 2, they kick field goals on those that kind of surprised me, but it makes sense because it's like our kicker's automatic. It's not even a gamble.
Right. Exactly. And I just feel like the Ravens played well, no doubt. But they didn't look the best. Like their main offense came down to them finding that explosive play, which they did a couple times. But
Yeah.
outside of that, Ravens looked a bit shaky. Ravens looked beatable today.
Yeah, I think it was more so, I think the Rams. But
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the Rams should have won this game. No doubt about it. I
Me
mean,
too.
You know,
We outplayed Baltimore. Let's be honest. It just sucks that. And finally, it's just like you said, it was going to be a close game by virtue. To have a close game come down to penalties, come down to missed calls, come down to the officiating, it's the worst kind of way to lose. Because it wasn't like the Eagles game on where, yeah, sure thing, we didn't win, we lost by 9 points, but we at least, you know, we didn't lose by bullshit.
yeah. No, it's a game like that is so frustrating. Do you have the Rams in the playoffs or?
I do.
Okay.
I 100% do, because I honestly think is that we are going to win out table, especially if the Niners sit out their starters.
I don't know if they're going to do that, but I do kind of have a feeling that the Rams are going to go to San Francisco and win that game week 18.
Yeah. Like
the Ravens game gave them a lot to prepare for in that game.
Right. Because again, like win or lose, we looked awesome today. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I thought the Ravens are a horrible matchup for the Rams, and they should have won.
They are.
I mean,
right.
That's how well they played. So, yeah.
And then like the main thing which frustrated me outside the officiating was just how much did Lamar truly scramble out of pocket and him always getting the first down? And I know for a fact a large part of that was on the offensive line holding. But again, once you reach that second level, guys should have made the tackle right there, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so, you know, do you have any final thoughts? I'm trying to get, through everybody. So
let's see. I am wondering, what are our playoff odds right now? I'm pretty sure it's just 50-50.
It's 31% right now.
31. Damn, really?
Yeah. Like I said, you want the Raiders to beat the Vikings and you want the 49ers to beat the Seahawks. I mean, that stuff goes a long way for the Rams. If both of those games flip and the Vikings win that game on the road and, the 49ers end up blowing this game at home against Seattle, the Rams odds would get pretty bad. Because at that point, let's see. So if that were to happen, the Rams odds would drop to potentially below 20%. So
Jesus.
yeah, so you really just don't want that to happen.
Right.
Hovering around 20 to 19%. So yeah, I think the Niners just scored though. It looks like they did.
Really? Did they?
Yeah. So I think that'd be 21 to 10 with 3 minutes to go in the third.
Yeah,
So
and then meanwhile for Vikings Raiders is still tight at 0.
Yeah, that's still 0 with 3:46 to go. That's crazy.
Inside of the third. Jeez, that game's awful.
Go Aiden O'Connell.
Go Aiden O'Connell.
Yep, just Aiden O'Connell.
Which?
No one else.
Yep. No one else on that Raiders team. Just solely Aiden O'Connell. And then meanwhile, like
Max Crosby is absolutely insane, by the way. Can we just talk about that?
So good.
He has 2 sacks in this game. They were talking about him having a potential like life and death, like he was septic.
Yeah.
Like that was just like 2 weeks ago or last week. Like his freaking knee blew up.
Yeah. He's back having 2 sacks. That's incredible. And then meanwhile, for Justin Jefferson, he had to be taken to the hospital for a chest injury. They are hoping it's just a precaution thing with that. And then meanwhile, the reason why the Chargers haven't scored points is because Justin Herbert's out with a finger injury. He's questionable return. So for anyone betting on Chargers Broncos, that is why like the Chargers haven't scored points. Justin Herbert is out.
Yeah. That's well, they're not in good position because they're 5-7. So they're gonna go to 5-8 there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not looking good for the other LA team in yet. And then Niners scored 21-10 right now.
Yeah, I figured. So, all right, man. Well, appreciate you as always for coming on and your support. You too.
No problem. And for people, just go out to the Kick channel, subscribe to Jake there.
Appreciate it, man.
Do all that fun stuff. Yeah. And other than that, I will see you later, Jake.
Sounds good. You be well.
You too, Jake.
All right, later, Falco. Okay. Let's see. Rusty, how's it going?
What's good, Jake?
Not much, man. Just chilling, and that loss is pretty painful.
Yep, you could say that. You can say that again.
So, what were your thoughts?
Overall, secondary really disappointed me in this game, really, because those third and downs were so fucking horrible, man. We had Lamar literally in the cage in the box, and what do? Oh, you just give him the first down. Fuller had one job, get Zay Flowers out of the end zone, and what can he do? He loses him. That if we would have got to stop right there, we could have won that game, but it doesn't work like that for us. And the officiating was horrible. Like when Lamar threw that ball, that should have been a fumble, but for some reason, that was a sack. So just very, very terrible calls. But other than that, just the usage of Kyren kind of pissed me off a little because he was doing so good, but then McVay had to get a little bit of cute and with Stafford at the same time, and they decided, the overtime drive, Kyren got a good chunk of yardage, and what does McVay do? Nah, fuck that. Let's go Stafford. What does Stafford do? He overthrows Kyren. That would have been a pick. Then you basically leave the game on the line for the rookie, and I don't blame him because he was doing phenomenal. So it was little things like that, Jake, that really kind of pissed me off, and just our inability to get drives going. But Stafford had a really good game. I was surprised because he usually would have thrown a pick, but nah, he was in his bag. Puka was in his bag. Cup. I was so happy to see Allen Robinson. Everyone was in their bag except the defensive line. But holy shit! How the hell do you? How are these refs so blind they can't see someone literally pulling at Aaron Donald, Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Michael Hoyt? It's shit like that that kills the drives. And what can we do about it? We're not supposed to win this game, but of course we like doing that. We actually had the chance to win, but it's shit like that like frustrates me because of these refs. They're so blind. It's like these guys really fuck up the game, if you know what I mean. They really fuck it up because we had momentum, but of course they don't want to call anything on us. But
No,
like that, man.
I get it. Rusty, you got to watch your mouth because you're going to get me demonetized.
Sorry, Jake.
No, you're fine.
No, this game got me pissed.
Yeah, no, it was frustrating. I mean, I guess my biggest issue on the officiating is that it's the constant, like, well, it shouldn't have been as close, and don't let the refs dictate the outcome. And it's like, here's my thing though. It's like, I'm playing against the Ravens. Like, It's gonna be close. The refs just need to do a better job. How am I wrong for thinking that? It's like, I don't know. And again, am I putting the game on the refs? No. Am I saying the refs gave the game to the Ravens? No. I'm saying there were a bunch of plays that impacted the game. And I think by them never putting their foot down and, throwing a flag for one of those holding calls allowed them, basically their negligence of not throwing a flag just gave the Ravens a free pass to hold all game. And you could say, well, the Rams were probably holding on the other side of the ball too, and I have no doubt that they probably were. The difference is how much does a hold help the Rams as opposed to helping out Lamar Jackson? If you have Matthew Stafford have extra time, he's going to throw it away. If you have Lamar Jackson have extra time, he's going to go out there and turn, nothing into 30 yards rushing. That's the problem at hand. Is that he can literally keep any play alive without the help of the officiating. But when you swallow the whistle and you allow the offensive line to just hold all game, now Lamar Jackson has gone from he was already virtually unstoppable to now he literally is unstoppable. The only one that can stop him is him. That's it. Yeah. So it's... And of course the missed block in the back. But Rusty, do you think the Rams make the playoffs?
If I'm the Rams, I am highly pissed off at this game, and I'm destroying any team that's in front of me. So I hope we demolish these upcoming teams, because if I'm the Rams and I'm the players, I am extremely pissed off at. I want to wreck everyone who's in my way. So we can't make the playoffs. I hope we make it, man. We demolish the upcoming teams, because I don't want to be Washington, especially after the Rams after this game. They're going to be highly pissed off. So, yeah, I feel like we could win the remaining games. And I know we will.
Well, Seattle just scored. I don't know what's going on with the Niners, but the Drew Lock has 2 touchdown passes in this game. So that's a 21-16 game, kicking an extra point to come. And then Minnesota has the ball at the 36. So 2nd and 6, and it's 0-0 in that game. So the Raiders, they need to do something, man. Rams really, I'm not saying they need this, but like it would really help for the Vikings to get one of their losses out of the way. Like it would really help.
Let the Rams do their part and see what the rest of the NFL, if they want to help us or not. But it all comes down to us. We got to do our part. We got to win the remaining games, and hopefully with a slight chance we make the playoffs, but we got to take care of we got to worry about ourselves. Screw the rest of the teams. It may help that they win. They help us out, but we got to take care of business right now. We're responsible for our own to get to the playoff. So let's focus about ourselves. If those teams want to help us, they help us. If they not, they can go screw off. But we got to win out, Jake.
They got to win out, but even still, that wouldn't get them in the playoffs. So.
Who knows, Jake? The NFL's weird. The NFL's weird.
Well, no, I mean, they don't control their own destiny, essentially. Like, they would still, if they won out, they have a 98% chance of making the playoffs. If the Vikings even if the Vikings win today, if the Vikings lose today, then without anything, the Rams would be just under 99%, so like a 98.7. And then, of course, if the 49ers beat Seattle and the Vikings lose to the Raiders, that's going to put them around close to 100. So, yeah, the Rams, they went out, they take care of business. They're probably going to the playoffs. If they lose to the 49ers and they win every other game, they go 9-8. They have a 67% chance of making the playoffs before any of those results are counted. If the Raiders win today, that's 81%. And if Seattle loses on top of that, then that can go up to 85%. So today is pretty big, I would say, with those two games. We'll see what ends up happening, but yeah, big 3rd and 2 coming up at the end of the third quarter for the Vikings. So if the Raiders could stop them, that'd be huge. But Rusty, as always, I appreciate your time, man.
Thanks, Jake. I really needed this, and hopefully this will help me like kind of soften the blow of the Ravens game, but it's hoping right now.
Yeah, we'll see.
And we gotta wait till week Sunday. Hopefully, I hope we're ready to beat the living crap out of the Commanders, but that's only hoping.
Sounds good. Well, you take it easy, man.
All right. Thanks, Jake.
Absolutely. All right. Tate, how's it going?
Hello.
What were your thoughts on the game, man?
I mean, I was impressed with the Rams. I don't really want to talk about the refs that much because it's been covered, but to play that well and have the refs stacked against us, I was really impressed with them. So those are my thoughts on that part. Let's see. The beginning of the game, I don't understand why McVay does this, but you're just running it down their throat, and this guy decides to pass the ball inside the 10-yard line. I had no idea why he did that.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I will give him credit. You know, the game does end up, Kyron ends up getting 25 carries. You can't have him too much, but you know, you can't have him run like 30 times. That's what got him hurt in the first place, just having him on the field too much. But yeah, I mean, he's so crucial to this team. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's true, but I mean, put in Royce Freeman or something and try it on the first down run maybe, and then from there pass. I don't know. He just always does that. It's so odd.
You are right there. It definitely feels that way. I do think, while I had issues with some of the play calling by Sean McVay, I thought today was very, very good. I mean, just to...
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. For sure. I'm not blaming McVay on anything, especially after hearing about the headset problem and everything. That kind of makes up for the issues at the end of the game and during that third down and overtime.
Well, it's frustrating. So, I mean, that impacted the ending of the game. I mean, they very well could have scored a touchdown and won the game. That's upsetting. I mean, it's NFL equipment. You think it'd be good enough? I guess not. So, yeah, I was really upset to hear that or see that because I haven't heard it yet. I've been live, but yeah, that's frustrating. Do you have the Rams making the playoffs?
Yeah, I for sure do. I mean, just think about it this way: we played the top two defenses. The Browns last week, they allowed 260 points a game. I mean, yards a game, and the Ravens allowed 273. And I think we put up something like 400 on the Browns and 410 on the Ravens today. So it's insane. Like we showed how we balled out, and the Browns played really well today. They beat Jacksonville, So I think that just shows how good of a team we are. Like, I don't think anyone wants to see us in the playoffs.
No, I don't. I think a lot of teams don't want the Rams to go to the playoffs because they could, really play spoiler. Do you have any final thoughts, Tate?
I do have a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
So with Mason Crosby on the team now and Haversack balling out, what do you think's going to happen?
He'll probably just chill on the practice squad, and they'll probably, just having him around helps, I would imagine. It forces Haversick to have some competition, which forces him to, play well. But also just the mentorship, I think, too. Like being around a veteran kicker helps. So, yeah, I think they just kind of want him around for that reason. But, I mean, it's weird because they activated him off the practice squad. So that counts as one of his activations, and they didn't play him. So that's weird.
Yeah.
But also after today, like, I don't know if I'm rushing to have Mason Crosby kick. I didn't hear great things about Mason Crosby kicking in practice. So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of that's what I would say.
And maybe that's what happened. And then my other question for you, well, I have two more. One was you said you don't think that the 49ers are going to bench their players in the last game. Well, why is that? I mean, their remaining games are the Cardinals, the Ravens at home, and then the Commanders. And Detroit's kind of falling apart, and they've beaten both Dallas and the Eagles. So I'm just curious why you don't think they would at all consider or not. You didn't say you wouldn't consider that they might not consider it. You just said you didn't think they would.
Yeah, I don't think they will because I think it's too close. It's not like the 49ers are running away with it. Like currently the 49ers are about to go 10-3. If Philly wins, they're 11-2. You know what I mean? So it's still, there'd be something to play for. If Philly loses tonight, that becomes really interesting because then you have 10-3 Dallas, 10-3 Philly, and 10-3 San Francisco. San Francisco takes the number 1 seed right then and there because they have the tiebreaker, like you said, over those two teams. So, so that's what it becomes really interesting. But I mean, I think I do have Dallas winning tonight, by the way. I think Philly loses. And I think that's...
God, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in this scenario, you would, if you want them to sit their starters, then you want the 49ers to win out. You want them to beat the Ravens, you want them to beat the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Commanders, and then you want them to sit their starters against the Rams. If they did that, then what are they? 13-3 going into the Rams game. That's what they would be. And then Philly, they would be, what do they have left? So Philly has Dallas, Seattle, Giants, Cardinals, Giants. They play the Giants twice.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, I mean...
Sorry.
I got to tell you, I don't see really a scenario where the 49ers just outright sit their starters. They're at least going to play the first half. But honestly, if they have a chance to knock the Rams out of the playoffs, they might not even sit their starters. Sure. They might just be like, you know what? No. This is our rival. Let's knock them out.
Especially because they're hot, too. Like, we're freaking hot.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean... I
could totally see that happening, for sure.
Yeah,
I'd pray to God it's a flip of what happened a couple of years ago, and that we actually win the championship.
That would be hilarious. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. The 49ers deserve it.
Oh, I know. What was your last question?
No, that was it. That was it, bro.
Oh, gotcha. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on, man.
All right, my dude. Thanks for the full course meal, man.
Nice. Absolutely. Right, take care, brother.
All right, brother. Later.
All right. Let's see here. Jack, what's good?
What's good, Jake? Jeez. I don't know what to say that hasn't already been said.
Yeah, I think that's the one problem is when you get in here, a little bit after, let's say 5 people have come or 6 have come on. Everything that can be said has been said.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I mean, Heartbreaker. It was, I feel like a lot of people are kind of like saying it was the fault of the refs. And I'm going to say that overtime was, but I'm also going to say that I don't think it ever needed to go to overtime. I think if you get a stop on 3rd down and 17, then we don't have to worry about that problem. They're probably kicking a field goal at that point. I don't know if they go for it if they kick a field goal at that point, but I think we're definitely ahead of where we need to be if we just make the stops on the downs where we need to make the stops. Like, I think that's kind of just a continuation of what I've seen out of this defense the last few years, where for the most part they hold their own, but then there are moments where, like, on a 3rd down and 15 plus, they allow a touchdown drive. And I think it's just like, that doesn't happen, then a lot more of those situations are winnable. And I think that that's kind of what we saw today, where if they just get off the field on 3rd down and 17, maybe we're not even talking about overtime.
Yeah. I mean, it's certainly, it's a frustrating thing. I think also, the same could be said a lot of those times where, Lamar had all day to throw and drives got extended on 3rd down because they didn't call a hold.
They missed 13 holds, I think, is what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the actual number, but I will say it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. So, yeah. I will say the Raiders just got forced to a 4th down at the 17. So this might be the game here. No points in the 4th quarter. The Vikings are probably going to get this punt, I would say, at the 40, 50, So they're going to be right in business. Not ideal. Not ideal. D-Dog, Grandpa, and RA45AUD. Thank you guys so much for the follows on Kick. I appreciate it. We're at 768 followers, and I've been really slacking on Kick. I really just do JE Live right now. I will be doing more gaming streams throughout the week as we get closer to the off season, but that's that.
Assuming you don't have packet loss
And PlayStation banning me, and
yeah.
Been through so much.
It's been an avalanche on both in the Rams game, an avalanche of no calls, and now this.
Wait, hold on. AJ Cole punted the ball 83 yards?
No way.
What?
83 yards?
It's showing touchback though. It says 0 yard line, but it says touchback. And here I was thinking the game was over when AJ Cole apparently just flipped the field. Adrian, I agree with you. That block in the back was a terrible no call.
Yeah, no, that was one of the worst no calls I've seen. Honestly, probably since the Saints game.
So, Jack, do they make the playoffs?
It's tricky to say either way. I don't want to be pessimistic about it, but it's hard because my thinking is, assuming they do win out, which I know the 49ers discussion, whether they rest starters, whether they don't, whatever happens, that whole thing is up in the air. But let's assume they do win out. They still need to get help from other teams. And, that honestly could go either way. And they're just digging themselves in a hole right now. So, I want to say they make the playoffs. I still think they are good enough. I'm not a moral victory guy. But I will say that the fight that they showed in this game, where so many people wrote them off, is definitely something that, that's worth giving them credit for, because they could have just allowed a bunch of those touchdowns that they did early on, rolled over and died, and the offense kept responding. They kept putting together those drives at crucial points in the game, maybe not as much as we would have liked them to, but, I think that my point is, I think that they are capable of making the playoffs. I think they are deserving of making the playoffs. It's just a matter of, I don't know if they're going to get the help that they need to. And if they keep getting dug into a hole like they have been recently, not recently, they just won 3 in a row before today, but if things like what we saw happen between the Packers and Chiefs, or what we're seeing in some of these games today, like, are they going to get the help that they need?
Yeah.
It's too up in the air for me to really definitively say whether or not they're going to make it.
The Packers game, I have no faith in the Giants, which is fine. If the Giants want to win that game and surprise me, by all means, let them do that. I'm not going to sit there and try and hope and pray. And no, Not happening. I'll just let it happen. But with the Vikings game right now, Josh Dobbs has 63 passing yards in the fourth quarter. The Vikings looks like they'll be punting on 4th and 6 at their own 24. And if they don't punt, that's scary. Carter just returned that. Okay. They're at the 31-yard line. That is definitely the most important game, I would say. Seattle was assumed to lose that game against the 49ers. Anything that Seattle does in that game is considered a shock. If Seattle were to win against the Niners, that's something unforeseen, right? But if Minnesota loses this game, not many people had the Vikings losing this game to the Raiders. You know, I did, but not many people did. So this would be pretty big, for the Rams' playoff hopes. As I illustrated earlier, I mean, this would get them back to like 40% as Josh Jacobs runs for 6 yards there. They're now at the 37-yard line, 2nd and 4. So Jack, any final thoughts before I let you go?
I really, really, really hope that in these next 2 I think the Rams have 2 games in the span of 5 days, because they got this next game next Sunday against Washington, and then they got Thursday night football against the Saints. And I just hope they play angry. I hope they take this one and think that they realize that they are capable of winning these games, and they shock the world in these next couple of games. They show the NFL universe that they're still in this playoff race, because I mean they're going to need it. I really think they're going to need to play as hard as they possibly can. Both of these games should be wins. Honestly, these next 3 games should be wins, because they got the Giants after the Saints. So
that would put them at 9-7 going into a must-win game against the 49ers, and they could still make the playoffs theoretically if they miss that, and they would have a 69% chance that they win out. Then they have a 98% chance without anything happening the rest of the year. So I'm not putting in any sort of data. Just having the Rams run straight through it, they have a 98% chance they run straight through it at 10-7. So good odds, very good odds. We'll see what ends up happening. But Jack, appreciate you as always, and hopefully we can game soon.
Hopefully. Also, Shohei's a Dodger, so I can celebrate that at least.
Well, there you go.
Yep. All right. Peace, Jake.
Later, my guy.
Later.
All right. So, not sure what's going on with my mouse. It's really odd. Okay. All right. I'm locking this up. Nash, Mitch, and Cam the Ram and Marco go crazy. That's it. I'm taking those callers and I'm calling it a night. Marco, how you doing? Thank you for coming on to JE Live.
Oh shoot. Yo, what's up, man?
How's it going?
I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Just, it was a hard game,
Yeah, very, very hard game indeed.
I mean, yeah. I don't like to harp on the refs too much, but they were pretty terrible today. They was losing. They made us lose pretty much. I think Tutu Atwell should have came. If he was healthy, changes a lot, I think, to be honest.
Yeah, it sucked not having Atwell out there. I like the way they responded without him, but that was really unfortunate.
Yeah, I like the way DeMarcus Robinson stepped up. He played really good today. Made a huge catch for a touchdown right there at the end. But yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they make the playoffs, Marco? Oh. Well, I assume it's an internet thing, but that was really funny. Hey, are they making the playoffs? And then he just bounces. Like, nope, I'm out. All right. Well, I don't see him, so I don't know what's going on there. We'll bring on someone in the meantime. Mitch, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, Jake?
Not much, man. How'd you enjoy today's game?
Good, man. I told you 2 weeks ago me and my wife and my best friend, we ended up going to it. So we were there live, got to see that live experience, and it was a good game, man. Like I'm not down at all about this loss, honestly. I
Yeah,
mean,
a lot of fun.
yeah, it was back and forth. Raven Stadium, they're cool. The fans are cool. I mean, the rest were terrible, and like it wasn't just calls for us too. They were just terrible all. Like the NFL has a referee problem. I think everybody can agree with that. That they need to do something, man, because we're getting tired of it. Like it's just they're terrible. It was
Yeah.
bad calls, but overall, as a team, man, like usually I don't like to watch the show. I don't like to be on anything. I'm more like the other mode I called first. Like I like to turn off and come back 3 days. But with this type of loss, man, I'm not mad at all. Like we went toe to toe with a Super Bowl caliber team and took them to overtime, and we were supposed to lose by 7.5. Like it was a you never want to say it was a good loss, but I mean it was fine, man. It was fine. I'm not upset at all.
Yeah.
Wish we would have ran the ball more, but and that's about it. Especially that first drive, running down their throat, and you get to the 9 yard line, then you do 3 passes. But I get it. I was in the stands like play action, McVay, play action, and then he does it, and then it doesn't work. But that's football, man. You know, sometimes things don't work out.
Yeah, no, definitely. So do you think they're going to make the playoffs?
Yeah, and I still think there's a chance to make the playoffs. I had us losing this game anyway. I think you talked about it. They were going to go 3-2. But this game just showed me that they're more than ready to actually go on a run here with these 3 wins, and even maybe even sweep the 49ers.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
absolutely.
not sweep the 49ers, but sweep the rest of the season and actually end up beating the 49ers.
No, I know what you mean. Definitely know what you mean. Yeah, I think I think that they run the table. I've kind of felt like that since week 2. Like when they were that close to winning against the Niners, I kind of just feel like, that wasn't just one of those, that was kind of cool, but it was because it's a divisional rival. And I hope people realize that now. Like going up against the Browns, going up against the Ravens now back to back, blowing out the Browns, should have beat the Ravens, losing an overtime game there. Like it shows like the Rams can hang with the best of them. And I think that this game is going to have, I think they're better having just played this game. I think they're now a better football team, and I don't think it bodes well for the 49ers. I don't. I think that the Rams do win that game. Whether they play their starters or not, week 18, I think they're going to go into Levi's, and I think they're going to win that game.
Yeah, 100%. The one call I just couldn't stand was that block in the back, man. I was watching AD because I was like, AD's gonna make a play here. AD's gonna make a play here, and dude just shoves him both hands right on his nameplate in the back. I'm like, how did they not call it? The back judge, the guy who's behind the quarterback, sees it and he doesn't call it. And like, I didn't see all the bear hugs everyone's talking about, but it was just that call. I mean, that missed call was just terrible, man. And
well, the block in the back on the kick. Like to return it, the punt return. I mean, they win the game. I mean, that was, how do you miss that? Jake Hummel got thrown by Charlie Kohler, teammates at Iowa State, and no call. Yeah. And I just, it goes just once again. They just blow the whistle whenever they want to. It's kind of just a volunteer thing. Like, and they don't. I don't feel like they really take it seriously like they should. It's frustrating. So
100%. It should be I mean, the NFL has way too much money where the referees need to be a full-time job. Like I don't get it. It's not that damn complicated. You have enough money to pay these guys so they can be full-time, and they just won't do it.
Instead, they pay them $250,000 a year to be complete garbage. I don't know.
Exactly. Like it's up to us fans to keep complaining about this and harping about this. And hopefully the coaches will hear and they'll complain at the competition committee, and like it needs to be fixed, man. You make way too much money. People are gambling on this now. For games to come down.
Absolutely.
Games to come down with referees, man. Like it's so frustrating. But I was raised never to complain about the refs. You said it. You never want to play a game where you leave it in the refs' hands. So, but for me, I'm not mad at this loss. This was I know there's no good losses, but this was one you can keep your head up high and be like, okay, the Rams are back. Like they're not a good team. They're a borderline great team, man. You took a Super Bowl caliber team in their house to
I know.
overtime.
Cross country,
No one thought
10
we would be there.
a.m.
Yeah.
game, their time. Like, there's
Mhm.
just so many variables that make this such an impressive loss. I mean, I hate to say it like
Right.
that, but I mean, it really is. It's more impressive than the 49er loss, where everyone was like, okay, that was kind of a barometer to show you how the season might go. Then they lose some
Right.
uncharacteristically bad games against the Bengals, where they have 2 touchdowns taken away by the officiating. They also
Mhm.
abandoned the run, so they hurt themselves in that one. But then, the Steeler game, just like, okay, he's 2 yards short. Let's move that forward. First down, game over. That was frustrating. But, those 2 games are really the deciding factor whether or not they make the playoffs. Because if they miss the playoffs, winning it all, first off, that's messed up, man. If they go 10-7 and miss the playoffs, that's crazy. But if they go 9-8,
Yeah.
that should be good enough to get in the playoffs. But if it's not, you're going to point the finger at the Steeler game. You're going to point the finger at the Ravens game. You're going to point the finger at the Cincinnati Bengals game. First off, though,
Yeah.
you're pointing the finger at the Bengals and Steelers. The Ravens game,
Yeah.
you weren't really supposed to be there. So, I mean, that's just,
No.
let's just call it like it is. But no, I agree with you. It was definitely a fun game. One of the best games of the year. I wish the result, favored the team that I root for, but you'd be lying to say this wasn't one of the best games in the NFL the entire year. I mean, this was a fantastic game, and the NFL won big time because they got this on national. They got this nationally televised on the 1 p.m. Eastern time slot.
Oh, nice. I didn't even know that, but it was definitely worth buying a ticket for. So I wasn't upset. And the Ravens fans, it's like my 5th time going to a Ravens game. And the Ravens fans, they'll talk trash, but they're not. It's not like going to an Eagles game or nothing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
They're pretty cool.
No, I hear you there. Oh my God, this game could really.
You want talking about the Vikings and Raiders game?
Yeah, it's hard to look at, man. It's
I'm
right
watching
now
it too.
6-13, 0-0. And of course, Josh Jacobs got hurt. He was their best chance. Now they're going to punt on 4th and 4. Oh God. But yeah, Mitch, appreciate you as always for coming on, and we'll talk soon, my guy.
Yeah, man. Talk to you next week. Thanks again, Jake.
Absolutely. You take care.
You too, bro.
Appreciate it, man. All right. Last 2 guests. We got Cam the Ram and Phoenix Nash. Cam the Ram, how you doing?
Hello.
How's it going?
Hey Jake, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Just a tough one today, but fun one nonetheless. Entertaining. I mean, that's what football is, right?
That is it. First off, greetings from Germany, Bremen, Germany.
That's awesome,
it's my
man.
first time calling in. Long time listener. I really appreciate what you're doing, man. Win or lose, I like listening to your podcast and to your reactions after the games. It's actually a big time of my commute to work, and it's always always nice, man.
I really
Thanks for that.
appreciate that. Thank you for listening all the way out in Germany. That's freaking cool.
Definitely, man, definitely. So the game was tough. Like you did, I thought we would lose this one. Just by the end, I really thought we had it.
I know.
And this senseless punt return for a touchdown. But the Ravens are Super Bowl contenders, and playing like that against such a good team, I think it really shows a lot. I thought this would be one of these tanking seasons, but man, they proved everybody wrong. We are already 6-6 now 6-7, so that's already more wins than we had last season.
Yeah.
Where we had supposed to have another Super Bowl run.
Yeah, it's funny. Not many thought that they were going to win even 5 games. And speaking of which, where's Jordan Phillips? I don't know if you were here during that, but Jordan, a listener of mine, had a jersey bet, and he bet me. He said he'd buy me a jersey.
Yeah. That was the last time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the last time. You wanted Kyron, I think.
I think so. I've already forgotten, but yeah, I haven't seen him since. And I told him they were gonna win. I told him they were gonna win at least 5 games. That was the bet, and they're now at 6, and I haven't seen him. So, but
I honestly didn't see it coming because we had such a young defense, such an inexperienced defense. But it's been going good, and I hope we're not gonna lose too many guys for next season.
yeah,
And next season could really be something, man.
no,
The offensive
absolutely.
line, out of nowhere, there's this Kevin Dotson coming in like one of the few signings we did, or actually was a trade.
Yeah,
Akello looks like a great corner.
he had a huge interception today.
Yeah, a great one. Yeah, I actually scared my wife because I yelled and she didn't know what was going on. But yeah, great pick by Akello. Just actually a really good game. It's just like last week, we had a few mental errors on defense, which cost us a touchdown. It's happened now twice in a row. A little bit annoying, but still a close game. And Jesus, Lamar Jackson is the most annoying person on the field. Jesus, they cannot get him down.
Yeah,
They try, and slippery dude, man.
Yeah, that ending was frustrating. So Cam, do you have the Rams making the playoffs still after this?
I think they will. But they have to win out, right?
They don't have to. I think. I mean, they can lose one more game. They can't lose 2. 2 is going to make it really difficult, but they can lose one more game. But yeah, I do think they're going to make it. I think they went out at 10-7, but I think they could very well make it at 9-8.
Because the last one would be against San Francisco, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
And,
so it's not easy.
That's a tough one. But I still think we could do it. And the Rams right now, they're dangerous. It's a dangerous team. And in the playoffs, where it's every game counts, you win or you go home. You never know. Maybe they make it to the championship, whatever.
Yeah, you truly, you never know.
You never know.
But yeah, as I wrap it up here, do you have any final thoughts before I bring on the last caller of the night?
That's it for me. Really excited to talk to you. It was my first time. Once again, I appreciate what you're doing, man. It's actually a big part of my Mondays after a game. And I've seen you grow. I've seen you on Believe in Ram, and you're not all that active on that anymore. I think you do more like a general NFL thing in Believe. But I still like to listen to it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm on. I still do Believe in Rams. Off the Edge moved away from Believe.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I see. So yeah, great talking to you. Have a nice day, and hopefully, yeah, I also have to go to sleep because I have to go to work tomorrow. And nice talking to you, and have a good day.
You too. You take care, Cam. Nice talking with you as well.
Yes, man. See you. Bye.
All right, take care.
Take care. Bye.
All right, so that brings us to our last guest here, Phoenix Nash, and that's gonna do it. After this, I am done for the night. Oh God, dude, the Vikings, they're moving the ball for the first time this game. I think has it ever gotten to this point? I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna get this game on. I've had Gamecast on. I haven't been watching the game, so let me just get this on here. So it's 1st and 10. I mean, you have to imagine they're just gonna go for it with Greg Joseph. If they have an opportunity to, you're just gonna kick the field. Why would you punt? You know, just go for the win. Phoenix, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Oh, man. Tough loss today, but, very impressed nonetheless.
Well, it was a tough loss, but let's see the positives.
Yeah.
Let's see the positives. We have, a team full of rookies that went toe-to-toe with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, which are the top AFC team right now as we speak. Like
Yeah.
that's a statement. And I hope everybody kind of like sees that, like what we're building here. Um, and I'll admit I was kind of questionable like in the off season last season because we were giving away like players like candy, like,
Yeah.
and I was like, what are we doing? And then of course you hear the media saying, oh, the Rams are not going to be good. Oh, they're gonna, you know, be they're totally bad. They're gonna be bad defensively. Da 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 this that. Stafford's too old. You know,
Yeah.
can we put some respect on John Matthew Stafford for a minute? Like this guy, you know, this guy is a beast, man. I know he had questionable throws, but but all in all, he had a good day. Cup was good today. Like today, I don't know, that's just showed me like old Cup was back. I know it took like I don't know how many weeks for him to come back, but it was good to see him going. I didn't catch Tutu going out though. I didn't catch that, so I hope he's okay and stuff like that. But it was good to see Robinson in there, taking care of business, and Puka Nakua, man. Like this kid, I don't know, man. Like he is a beast. And Kyron Williams, and I've seen some media, people out there saying like, oh, Kyron Williams only does good, like we were saying earlier, he only does good with bad defenses.
Oh
But I
yeah.
don't know, that looked pretty good to me. I don't know.
Exactly.
But putting
Exactly.
another hundo on the stat sheet, I think that was pretty good to me. So I think we can quiet down those naysayers. Not gonna name any names, but they're on other channels as well. But
I
you
knew where
know,
you were going with that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen other channels too, and yeah, there's a particular person that said that. So let's just shut them up for today. So so
That's funny.
but yeah, man, like I also, when I saw the schedule from the beginning of the season, I was like, oh man, we're going to Baltimore, and if we're playing Lamar Jackson, like it's a wrap, because he's just so twitchy, and you just don't know what you're gonna get with him. You know, is he
Yeah.
gonna like freaking you know bomb it downfield, or is he gonna run for like 60 yards? You just never know with this guy. So for us to go over there in the rain with rookies to go up against pretty much the number one seed in the AFC, I think that was a pretty damn good game.
I agree. I
Like,
mean, it would have been great to win. I mean, we're having a completely different
oh,
conversation about them winning, but look,
oh yeah,
it didn't happen, and they lost in the best possible way to lose, to prove that you are something that people didn't think that you were. That's the best way I could say
exactly.
it. I mean, does it help anymore? No. Does it help your playoff odds? Absolutely not. But this is a loss that you can somehow build on, you can learn from, and you got better being in. Just being in a game like I mean, game reps are second to none. That's
Yeah,
really what it comes down to. To get anytime you're able to play in overtime like that. They had the experience earlier in the year against the Colts,
right.
but you don't get to play in overtime a lot. So these reps are huge. I mean, that drop by Davis Allen, he's going to learn from that. I mean, that was his first game where he really got a chance to play in overtime. He got a chance to play at all, and he looks really
Yeah,
good. So
yeah.
lots to
It was
take
good.
away
It was
from it.
good to, yeah, it was good to see that kid going too, especially with Higby out. And
Yeah.
it was good that he had a chance, and yeah, he will learn from that. But he had that touchdown, so it's just the more experience, and it's confidence building. So I can't wait to see what he does down the road and stuff like that. Like we have a pretty solid roster, man. Like you know, I've heard like everything from media outlets, and then everybody, the whole tanking for Caleb campaign that was going on early in the year and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that.
I shot
And
that down pretty quickly.
oh yeah, Yeah. Like, yeah, I think what we have a pretty solid roster. Of course, we may just need a few, just a couple more pieces, you know, but I don't think we're far off the mark, honestly.
No, I
I
agree.
really don't.
I,
I think, we can go toe to toe with anybody. I think this game today just showed that we can go up against anybody. Like it doesn't matter who it is. We can go up against Ravens, Niners, Miami, bring them on. Like we'll go against everybody and we'll show you. See, it's other people that don't want us. They don't want us in the playoffs, you know. They don't want the Rams in the playoffs because they already know what's going to happen. We're going to
no,
upset someone.
no one wants to play a team that
No,
has
yeah,
guys with Super Bowl experience, a coach with Super Bowl. No one wants to play that. So,
no.
you know,
Because I feel like the NFL, not this is gonna go like beyond. I feel like the NFL and probably Vegas too is probably trying to like shut us out. But like
that wouldn't
I
make
have a
any
feeling
sense for their pockets.
I know
The Rams are
exactly.
one of the richest organizations in the league.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just seems like stuff is getting dictated around here. Like with the officiating and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm going there now. The officiating,
Well,
because like. Yeah, I thought that was kind of questionable, that return, because I was like, like there's a lot of holding going on, like
oh yeah.
where's the flags on? I didn't see any flags. I'm like, oh, okay, the game's over. Well, that kind of sucked. I'd rather have like, Jackson bomb it to like OBJ for a touchdown to lose that way than that, because that was like ridiculous, you know? Like no calls, block in the back, no holdings. Like this is a huge problem.
Yeah,
The
the
officiating is a
officiating's bad.
very this is like last year was bad. This year is like 10 times worse.
They're never
It's
going to do
so
anything
bad.
about it though. You know it. It's been this bad
They
for a while. It just continues to
they
get progressively worse. So,
well, I know the NFL needs to be accountable for all this stuff though. It's like it just
you
like
know why they won't though? Because we saw what happened with the replacement refs, and that'll never happen again. So I don't trust the NFL to ever get this right. To be honest with you,
right.
I just
Yeah.
don't. That's really what it
It,
comes
it
down to.
yeah. Well, I'm still hoping that something needs to change because it's 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 ridiculous because it's like, of course it changes the outlooks of the games, but it's just like, it's I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's becoming like annoying. It's so bad that I watch like YouTube videos of, you know, the worst calls by refs in week 12, and I just see like all the games where the refs like just miss calls or have horrible, they just
My
it's
God,
ridiculous.
person
It's
probably
it's
makes so
really
much
ridiculous.
money off that channel.
Oh my God.
Well, maybe not because the
Well,
NFL probably copyright claims it.
probably, but hey, well, it pulled me in, so it's like, come on, I'm like, I just want to see what's going on across the board, not just with us. And it's really bad, man. Like like I hope it becomes somewhat of a focus in the off season. Like I understand and I kind of agree with you. They probably won't do anything about it. I'm just hoping that it does because, you know, like if I want to go to a game and I'm watching my team and then I get screwed because, refs can't do their jobs, it's like, oh man, like
Yeah.
whether if it was a win or a loss, but I wouldn't want to lose like that way, that's just kind of, BS. But
No, I hear you,
yeah,
man. But look, that's gonna do it for me. Appreciate
yeah,
you coming on, Phoenix, and I'll
yeah.
talk to you next week, man.
All right, thanks a lot, Jake.
Yeah,
Take care.
absolutely, man. You take care.
All right, peace out, man.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So that is gonna do it. I what is going on here? Okay. I can stay until the end of this Vikings-Raiders game if you guys want me to. I'm not staying for the Sunday night game. It has no bearing on the Rams whatsoever. And since I'm predominantly a Rams channel, that makes zero sense. But this game's important. So if you guys want me to stick around just to the end of this game, it's almost over. I'll do that. So yeah. Oh, what the hell happened? Did he miss that? Oh, that was earlier. Oh, you can't show that, man. Oh, my God. I thought he missed. God. Thank you, Harry. I thought he missed that. All right, this is a 36. He ain't missing this. But there's 2 minutes left, so the game's not over necessarily, but okay. Shank this. Come on. Miss. And he made it. Okay, so there's 157 left. They got a timeout, and they're up 3-0. Maybe the Raiders in a 2-minute offense can do something. I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, man. Can we hurry the game up, though? For the love of God. What's up, Jeremiah? I just saw you. I've been focusing on the game. All right, you got it. I'm staying to the end of this game. Then I'm heading off. I'm not staying for the Sunday Night Football game. I have no care in the world. I mean, I care about the game, like I care about the NFL, but I'm not staying since there's no implications towards the Rams from that game. I mean, I guess I don't know. I'm not staying for that. That sucks. You have a Ravens fan that's a friend of yours? All right, they don't deserve this win at all. They have 3 points scored. Come on. Let's go, Raiders. Come on, Aiden O'Connell. Wow. All right, on that note, I'm done. He threw a pick. It's over. Wins and losses are not created equally. The Rams lose a game scoring 31 against a Super Bowl contender, and the Vikings win a game scoring 3 against the Raiders. Unreal, man. Anyway, I'm out. Later, folks.